بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Good morning to all students of class 7. This is our class for the midterm revision. It's a revision class, and today we will discuss two chapters. One is chapter number 1, nutrition in animals, and the other is chapter number 3, particle theory. As it is a revision class, so there will not be any homework. Any written homework will not be given. Only these two chapters you will learn properly for the midterm examination. So we are going to start from the chapter number 1, nutrition in animals. As you know that plant can prepare their own food by the process of photosynthesis, but animals, how animals get food? Animal get food from the prepared food by the plants, and animal get food from the other animals and the product of plants and other animals. So this chapter is totally about the nutrition in animals. What is nutrition? Nutrition is the process of obtaining food and its utilization. The process of obtaining food and its utilization in the body, this is called nutrition. And food is like a fuel for the body, because if we will not get food, all the functions in our body cannot take place properly, and our body will not work properly until we get food. So the importance of the food is that if we want to do work properly, so we need food. The heterotrophic nutrition, as plants are autotrophic, but animals are heterotrophic. Heterotrophic nutrition is that they get food from the other living organisms. So the first term which is used in your book is halozoic. Halozoic, when the food is taken in the form of solid substances. So this method of food intake is called holozoic. It is important definition, so learn the definitions of nutrition, food, nutrients, and heterotrophic, autotrophic, halozoic. So learn these definitions properly. So there are different, as animals are heterotrophs, so there are different ways by which the animals are getting food. First of them are herbivores. Herbivores, herbs means plants. So herbivores are the animals which get food from the plants. Plant prepare their own food, and all the animals which are eating plants and plants part, they are called herbivores. The other category is carnivore regarding the mode of nutrition. Carnivores are the animals that obtain their food by killing other animals, means they eat the flesh of other animals. So they do not eat plants or plants part, but they eat only meat and of other animals. So the example of the other like carnivores is tiger, lizard, lion, and a lot of other animals which eat only the flesh of other animals. The example of herbivores, a lot of grazing animals like goat, like horse and camel. These are the examples of herbivores. Cow. Omnivores. Omnivores is the category in which the animals who take the plants as well as animal, means they eat plants as well as animals. So such animals are called omnivores. Examples are deer, human beings, mouse, foxes. So they eat plants part, and the meat of other animals, and the eggs or all the things. Parasites. Parasites are the animals which get food from the other living organisms. They live on the body of their host, they live inside the body of their host, and they get food from the other living organism. They are called parasites. And tapeworm, roundworm, these ticks, lices, these are called parasites, because ticks and lices, they live outside the body, and tapeworm and roundworm, they live inside the body, and they all are the example of parasites. Scavengers. Scavengers are the category of such animals or birds who eat the meat of the dead animals. Scavengers are those animals who feed on the remains of dead animals preyed by the predators. Means when the predators and predator means who eat, who hunt the other animals, and prey means the animals which is going to be hunted. Okay, so when they eat, they leave the remains of their prey, and then the scavengers comes and finish their the meat of the dead animals. The process of nutrition in the animals, there are different processes which takes place during the uh, taking in the food. When we take in the food in the solid form, what happens to that food? How it is useful, how it goes to the different cells of the body. So all these processes we are going to discuss right now. The first is ingestion. Ingestion means taking in food inside the body is known as ingestion. When we take in the food, this process is called ingestion. Okay, so there are different ways of taking in the food, like birds uh, suck the nectar of the flowers. Some animals are eating the other animals or flesh. Some are eating the fooder or beans, or like a lot of other parts of the plants. So there are different ways of taking in the food, but most of the animals eat the food in a solid form. And next step, after ingestion, when we take in the food, then it goes into the body or the stomach of the other animals, and then the process of digestion takes place. The process of conversion of complex form of food into simpler form of food, this process is called digestion. Because we eat starch, protein and fats. These are the three major groups of food: starch, protein and fats. These are the complex molecules. Now when they are changed into simpler molecules like glucose, amino acids and fatty acids, so this process is called digestion. Because the body secrete a lot of enzymes, a lot of other like secretions which help the conversion of the complex molecule into simpler molecules. So this process is called digestion. Another process is called absorption. Now the food is converted into simpler form, but when it is absorbed by the cells, and this process, when it goes into the cells, when the cell absorbs the food particles, this process is called absorption. And the next process is called assimilation. Assimilation is when the absorbed substances, now the food taken in, it is broken down into smaller pieces. Now it is changed into simpler form. Now it is absorbed by the cells, and when it is absorbed by the cells, it is utilized and transported to different parts of the cells. This process is called assimilation. Means when the cell absorb the food and utilize it, and send it to the other parts of the body. So this is called assimilation. So next is ejection. Now the food is absorbed and utilized, but there are some particles which are not digested properly. So these parts are necessary to expel out from the body. The process of expelling out the waste product from the body is called ejection. So ejection, the undigested food materials are thrown out of the body in the form of feces. This process is called ejection. Now, the process of nutrition in amoeba. All these processes which we were discussing, that was happening in the animal's body. Now, we are going to discuss about the amoeba. Amoeba, the finger-like projection around the body of the amoeba, they are called pseudopodia. These pseudopodia trap the other microorganisms and they digest these microorganisms, and then they expel out the waste products of the body of the microorganisms, and this is a way how the amoeba get the food. Check your progress at page number 17. This is very necessary. Match the column and blanks. This is very necessary, and you will learn properly, practice it properly. Next, process of nutrition in human beings. In human beings, this is a complex method of digestion. Means when we take in food, see the diagram. This is a diagram which is present at page number 18. When the food entered into the mouth, here are teeth and jaws, tongue, which break down the food, solid food particle, because saliva, which is present in the mouth, it make the food soft, and then the teeth work on food. When we chew the food, it is broken down, and the saliva is mixed in it. The saliva has also the enzymes which have ability to break down the food into smaller pieces. So tongue roll the food and make the balls of the food, and this food goes into and from here salivary glands also mixed in. This is a food pipe which is called esophagus. So it enters into esophagus. These balls come one by one, and by the process of peristalsis. Peristalsis is a process in which the food goes from one place to another by the contraction and relaxation of the muscles. Then the food goes into this part. This is stomach. In the stomach, the hydrochloric is produced, and some other enzymes are entered into the body, into the food. Here, the churning process is taken place, and this food is break down into more and more smaller pieces. Then it enters into small intestine. Then the small intestine, all the digestion, the process of digestion almost completed in the small intestine, and from here the food particles are absorbed into the bloodstream, and they goes into the other parts of the body, other cells of the body, where they utilize the food, and the extra food which is present, which is undigestible, it goes into the large intestine. In the large intestine, water is absorbed, and also some food particles, and then only the excretory material goes out through the rectum and anus, out from the body. So this is a complete process of digestion. Now, in the mouth, the physical digestion takes place. Physical digestion is done by the teeth, jaws, and tongue. It breaks down into smaller pieces, and there are two types of digestion: physical digestion and chemical digestion. Physical digestion means only simply breakdown of the food by the other organ of the body, and chemical digestion, when some chemicals or some other enzymes are involved to break down the food into smaller pieces. This is called chemical digestion. So in the mouth, only the mastication takes place. Mastication is a process of break down the food into smaller pieces by the teeth. Teeth are of different types. The names of the teeth are incisor, canines, premolars, and molars. And at the book page number 9, the types of the teeth are given. The tongue, the diagram of the tongue, labeling of this diagram, practice it properly. And tongue and saliva. Saliva is produced in the mouth. You know that when we see the food which we like too much, the water automatically secrete into our mouth. This is called saliva. And this saliva has some enzymes which work on the starch and break down the starch into smaller pieces. So the process of digestion starts from the mouth. As we have discussed, the food pipe. In this food pipe, the food goes through the process of peristalsis. Peristalsis is the movement, progressive wave contraction and relaxation of muscles in its wall to reach the stomach. This is called peristalsis. And sometimes the person become choked or hiccups, because if the food enter into the air pipe, then the person can become choked and it can be dangerous, even the death can cause. So while eating, we do not talk because it happens most of the time due to the talking. In the stomach, when the food reaches into the stomach, the mucus is produced. This mucus helps to protect the walls of the stomach from the hydrochloric acid damage, because hydrochloric acid can damage the even the walls of the stomach, but this mucus make a layer on the walls of the stomach which help to save the walls from the hydrochloric acid. Next secretion is pepsin. Pepsin is a protein digestion enzymes which are secreted by the stomach. And the third is hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid is produced by the stomach, and this hydrochloric acid is necessary for the killing of unwanted microorganism or bacteria which may enter through the food, and these are killed by the hydrochloric acid. So from the stomach, now the food in the stomach become the soft and semi-solid. Now this food enters into the small intestine. In the small intestine, actually the whole process of digestion takes place and completes. In the small intestine, different juices comes. See the picture. This is a picture of stomach, and now this is a point of where the food is entering into the small intestine, and this is attached with the pancreas as well as liver and gallbladder. Liver is also producing the bile juice, and gallbladder is also producing the juices which enter into the small intestine. Pancreas is also producing pancreatic juice. So all these juices entered into the small intestine where the food has entered. Now these juices help to break down the different food particles into smaller and smaller pieces, and when here the process of digestion almost completes, and this is inside the small intestine. There are a lot of millions of villi are present inside. These are the finger-like projection, hair-like projection inside the walls of the stomach, which increases the surface area. Because it increases the surface area, so more absorption takes place into the small intestine. Here all the food particles are absorbed and sent it to the bloodstream. From here the blood takes these food into the all the body cells where they will be utilized. Now the absorption takes place through the villi and small intestine, and now the food, undigested food, entered into the large intestine. Here the water is reabsorbed by the large intestine, and the undigested food particles in the form of feces, they go into the rectum and stored for few times, and they are expelled out when the person need to expel them out. So this is a way of how the food is digested into our body. So you will learn the proper assessment 1 and assessment 2, all the questions which are done in copy, learn these questions properly, and now come towards the chapter number 3, particles theory. Open your books at page number 23. This is a chapter about the particle theory. We were talking about in the chapter 1 about the living organisms, and this is all about the non-living things. So particle theory means how the non-living things are made up of, and what are the arrangement of the particles, because all the things are made up of atoms. All the things are made up of atoms. And matter has 3 states. Matter, what is matter? All anything which has a mass and occupies space is called matter. So all the things, whether they are in the form of solid, whether they are liquid, or they are in the gaseous form, they all are made up of matter. So all the things which we see around us, these are made up of matter, and matter is made up of atoms. Okay, so the arrangement, the states of the matter depends upon the arrangement of the particles. Particles means atoms. So whenever I will use the word particle, it means atoms. So the arrangement of the particle or atoms, it is the main reason that what is the state of the matter. So there are 3 states of matter: solid, liquid, and gases. So we will see the arrangement of the solid. In the solid, all the atoms are arranged properly. That's why the solid have proper shapes, because their arrangement, the arrangement of the particle is proper. They are arranged very close together. There is a great force of attraction between them, and the movement, only the movement which the solid particle can show, that is the vibration. They just vibrate at their own place. They cannot leave their place until they will get a sufficient energy to escape from them. So solids, the particles are arranged very close, they are closely packed, and there is a regular proper arrangement of the particles. In the liquid, the particles are arranged, but they have spaces between them that they can move. They can move. So this is the reason that the liquid do not have proper shapes, because they acquire the shape of the container in which they are going to pour. Means if we are going to pour the water into a bottle, they will acquire the shape of the bottle. If we are pouring the water or oil into the glass, they will acquire the shape of the glass, because they have spaces in between them and they have not too much stronger forces, although they have force of attraction between them, but as they have spaces between them, so this space also decrease the force of attraction between them. The next one is, the next form of the matter is gases. Gases, they have a lot of spaces between them and they can move freely. Gases can move freely. They do not have proper shape. Okay, so due to the spaces, more spaces between them, that they are and very little force of attraction between them. So the gas particle, this is the reason that gas particle can move anywhere. Okay, because they have spaces, a lot of spaces between them, and due to a very small or little force of attraction, they can move easily. Next is you will learn, check your progress at page number 24 and how the states of matter can be changed, because solid can be changed into liquid, liquid can be changed into gases, and these gases can be again changed into liquid or like something. So they can, matter can change its state, but how these changes takes place? First is melting and freezing. When the energy is absorbed or released by the particles, then the changes occur. For example, if there is a solid particle like ice, we are taking the example of water. Ice which we are taking from the refrigerator, when we keep the ice into the normal air, it loses the energy. When the energy, it absorb the lose the energy, and when the energy is lost by the particles, they just going to separate. Okay, so if energy is supplied by heating a solid, for example, if we heat the solid, when we heat the solid, what happens? It changes into liquid, because it absorbs energy. When they absorb energy, their particles move faster. When the particles move faster, they even acquire such energy that they can, the bonding between them is broken down and they can be separated. When they separated, they change the state. Now they are converted from solid to liquid. So the heat energy causes stronger vibration until the particle eventually have enough energy to break away from the solid arrangement to form a liquid. Now the opposite of this is when the liquid freezes, opposite is change from liquid to solid. When the liquid freezes, the reverse happens, reverse process takes place. At some temperature, the movement of the particle is slow enough for the force of attraction to be able to hold the particles as solid. Means when they lose energy, they come closer to each other. The force of attraction increases and they join with each other and they changes into solid. So this is melting and freezing. These are opposite processes. Likewise, boiling and condensing, these are opposite processes. If we provide more heat energy, so what will happen? The particle eventually move fast enough. Particle will move fast enough to break all the attraction between them. All the forces of attraction will be broken down and the liquid boils. If the gas is cooled, now if the gas is cooled At some temperature, the gas particles will slow down enough for the attraction to become effective enough to condense it back. For example, if we are going to boil, the water will change into water vapors, and these water vapors, if they are collected in a closed tube, and if we pour our cold water on these water vapors will lose the energy which they have acquired. When they lose the energy, the particles will going to join each other, and they will again condense into water, and they can be collected as water. Means the gases can be condensed into water vapors. The third is the evaporation of a liquid. How the water evaporate? Now there will be the difference between the boiling and the evaporation. So we will see the difference between the boiling and the evaporation. Evaporation is a process when at the surface of the particle, for example, if the water is placed in the sunlight, they are getting energy from the sunlight. Now at the surface, the particles of the water will get energy. When they get enough energy that they can escape from the surface of the water into the air, they evaporate. So this is called evaporation. In the evaporation, the force of attraction between the water particles remains, but they acquire such an energy that they can escape into the air. This is called evaporation. But if we see the boiling, what happens when we provide energy to the water? The particles which are at the bottom of the container, they will get energy first. When they will get too much energy, we see that the bubbles of the air goes up. Actually, these are the water particles which they have gained too much energy that they go up. And in this way, the particles which do not have got energy, they will go down, and they will get more energy and go up. In this way, the water goes up and down, and in this way we can see the boiling of the water. Due to the movement of the particle, this movement increases due to getting the energy, and in the boiling the force of attraction is broken down. When the force of attraction is broken down, then the particles get enough energy that they can escape in the form of gas. So we can see even the water vapors going up during the boiling. But during the evaporation, we cannot see the water vapors in the air. So this is the difference between the evaporation and the boiling. So the evaporation of the liquid in a closed container. If the evaporation, if we arrange the apparatus in this way that we close it, so what will happen? Definitely, the evaporation takes place due to the heat energy taken by the sun. The upper surface of the water, definitely the water particle will get energy. They will go up because they have gained a sufficient energy that they can escape into the air. But the environment is closed. So what will happen? They will move up, but again they can during the movement they can touch the surface of the water, and they can join the surface of the water as well. So in this way, the particles which are going up and joining, the equilibrium takes place. Equilibrium means the constant position. So the state of equilibrium takes place because the water is evaporating, and also the water are joining, the water particles are joining the surface of the water. So in this way, if it happens in the closed like closed environment, so equilibrium takes place. Next process is sublimation. Sublimation is the direct change from solid to vapors. It do not change first into liquid. Normally the solid changes into liquid, and then by giving more energy to the liquid they change into water vapors. But in this process, some substances, some elements, they have ability that when they get energy, they directly change into water vapors. The solid directly change into water vapors. This process is called sublimation. So you people just learn the key points at page number 26: melting, freezing, sublimation, evaporation. Learn these terms properly, learn the assessment 1 properly, and true false, or and all the work which is done in your book, learn the work properly. Assessment 2, all the questions which are done in the copy and in the book, learn properly, and prepare these 2 chapters properly, and wish you good luck for the midterm exams, and take care. Allah Hafiz till the next revision class.